All right, today we're gonna be doing some tri-tip burgers. I've got some ground tri-tip right here. This is what I'm going to be using to make my burgers. Nice amount of fat. If I had to guess, I would say this is probably a 80-20 mixture, meaning 80% meat to 20% fat. All right, I've got my Weber Hamburger press. Got some wax sheets, aka parchment paper. I've got me a pan here. I'm gonna knock a few of these out, and then I'll start getting my other fixings ready. I'm doing this a bit late in the game. However, you would want to do these probably the day before. Go ahead and get your patties formed, right? So I tend to go something about like that. And the reason you want to really put these together the night before, again, I'm not going to tightly pack them, is because proteins have an enzyme in them that they always want to go or mold to the surfaces that they're in. All right. So generally, you want to give this meat time to set up. You do that by putting it back, or you form your patties, and then you put it back. You put it back inside of the refrigerator to let it chill, and it'll stay in this puck shape that we're making, since we are making burgers. That tri-tip I used because it's been in my freezer for a while. I got it a few weeks ago, but I know that it was starting to get some freezer rot on it. So I cut the freezer pieces off, the freezer rotted pieces off. And then I grounded it up. And here's what we're gonna have. So this side is the quarter-pound side. So that's a quarter-pound burger patty. Automatic dimple in there, so we have less shrinkage. This goes in my pan, and then we'll move on to the next one. Now, good thing about doing these is you can knock a lot of them out at one time, and then you freeze them. So you'll have burger patties whenever you need them. You can do this with brisket. Again, I'm choosing tri-tip. Gotta excuse that snoring in the background. I got an English bulldog. He's relentless with the snoring. Parchment paper down. Now, I could have did it with just this. However, that meat's going to stick to this. It will stick. And makes for a longer experience. Now, we're going to get the press on there. Get it pressed out. Real simple recipe today. I'm making simple burgers. However, I like to use a bit more than just your standard ground beef. Let's get these sides together. Got a tomato, nothing special. I got a slicer. This is generally my brisket slicer. Onion. Lettuce, knife change, get rid of those ends. I'm gonna eat them for this. So how I do it, because I'm going for what's known as shredders, right? Shredded lettuce. So we're gonna take this lettuce. It's about five leaves, and then actually let's get that out of there. Then we're gonna go. See this? Tomato, raw onion. The tomatoes will be salted on the burger. Stay tuned. All right, we got a fire going. This is Kingsford blueback charcoal. I used a fire starter to get this started. We still got a few more minutes before this is all flamed up and asked over. Today, we're going to be cooking directly over the fire using post oak. I'm going to let this post oak burn down until we get some good charcoals, and then we'll get to cooking. Stay tuned. All right, here are my 4 patties. I'm going to be seasoning them down with this brisket magic. It's perfect for beef. Real simple. All right, we'll flip them over and get the other side. Oh, the seasoning getting to me. All right, I'll bring you guys back when I get these on over the fire. All right, here's how my fire's looking. You can see we got some coals produced. That's what you want to cook with. You're still going to get a nice smoky flavor, just not overly smoky. Here are my patties. Let's go getting these down. I'm also probably going to put down a jalapeno on here as well. We're going to let those go. So now, because I let those coals die down, let the wood produce some coals, I don't have to worry about as much flare-ups. Because these tri-tip patties have, you can see all that white. It's a lot of fat in there. But it's going to make for a juicy burger. It's going to make for a delicious burger. However, once it starts giving way, we're probably going to get some smaller flare-ups. Stay tuned. All right, first flip. So I can get in here. I should have got my metal spatula. Nice crust. Nice crust. So you see we got minor flare-ups. Not really worried about it. These burgers are, at least halfway done at this point. I'm going to get ready to maybe cheese them up and start probing to get them off here. Stay tuned. All right, these are probing at least 150s. We're going to go ahead and get them off. Let's see what this jalapeno's looking like. Might leave that on here a bit longer. Want that skin. We're gonna leave this one on here. This is gonna be from a dog. He looks at us as we eat, and I feel so bad when we're eating because I know he wants to eat the same thing. There's no seasoning on this. No salt, no pepper, none of that seasoning I use for these burgers. Stay tuned. All right, here we are. I've got my toasted buns put down. All right, get some sauce on them. Nice amount. All right, now that that's done, make sure you guys can see here. We're going to go down with a bed of shredders. With the tomato, and of course, always season your tomatoes. A little salt. Few onions. One of these awesome patties. There you have it. All right, let me put the rest of these burgers together, and I'll bring you guys back for a taste test. All right, let's go in for a taste. Burger looks pretty good. You see the layers in there. We got some stability to this burger. It's not just falling all apart. All right, we got the onion, that beautiful sauce, tomatoes, and that beautiful patty. Right off the bat, I can taste the crust that was built on that burger. It's pretty good. That burger sauce got a nice acidity to it. It's not overly smoky. You can tell it was cooked over the coals, but it's a bit different than if I would have slapped that meat on. Those flames are high, and those wood splits were putting out a ton of smoke. Tastes really good. It's fresh. If you haven't done so, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Till the next video, B Smokehouse out.